This video is powered by USAGundam. Visit USAGundamstore.com and enter the code JOEY10 to receive 10% off your next purchase. Today we'll be taking a look at the real grade Zeong. So I'll get this guy snapped up and we'll review it. Let's kick off this review by starting with the inner frame. And the reason why I want to review the inner frame first and then put the armor on it later is you have to see the detail that's in this inner frame. This inner frame is intense, to say the least. Most of the kit is probably inner frame. This is like 80% of the kit that you're looking at right here, and it is awesome. And as you can see by the crazy pose that I have him in, the articulation, even without legs, is still really cool. Alright, so now that I have him off the stand, and just in case you missed it, the stand port that I had him on for that pose is right here, and after we get the armor on and everything is whenever you will have access to the other port, but we'll go over that later. So, looking at the details in closer proximity here, you can see all those fine little details all over the head. This is a separate piece here with the crown. Back, going down the back, you can see all that little molded in detail right there. If you've seen my previous real grade, stuff in the past, you know I'm going to have a really fun time painting this inner frame up. I mean, look at the side of the chest units and everything. So I would say the detail wise, it's right up there with the new Gundam. Even maybe a little bit more than the new Gundam, is just because it has so many more parts and everything to the inner frame. But definitely more detailed than the Sazabi inner frame. Now, don't get me wrong, the Sazabi inner frame was pretty good. It was just a lot of solid plating. So it kind of didn't have all this, extra little fine details everywhere like this one does. You got the pistons here on either side. Of course, this does come out, but we'll go over that in just a second. But just the detail. Now, the hands are the only thing that are that like real grade pieces where it kind of comes already partially assembled. And as you can see with all these little nubs and stuff like that, it's going to take a lot of cleanup, but they are really neat. I guess we'll start with this. They are all articulated individual fingers, and they're on ball joints at the base, so they move all around, can do basically whatever you want. They can, fold in, fold out, and it's on a ball joint up here, so it basically has as much range of motion as you can ask for. But with it being the real grade kind of style, I haven't moved around too much, so I don't want to, move it too much and force it, because with these you want to ease them into moving and loosen it up over time. Starting up here with the head, what is really cool about this is it's got this little gimmick that whenever you move the head, it moves the eye. So he's looking wherever you're making him look. I think that's a really cool little gimmick that they put into it. I'm really into that, and the engineering inside it, whenever you build it for yourself, I think you're going to be very impressed by it. And of course, you got a little swivel here, nothing really up here, it's all right here, and then this whole system here moves independently, so you can get some really nice downward looking, some really nice upward looking. And now that happened, this is actually pretty loose. It's a big peg, but it really sits loosely in that hole. So I'm going to probably have to give that a little bit more attention when it comes to the final painting and everything like that. So I guess precautionary note for you guys, if you build it, that thing does not really hold in very securely. He has a very nice ab crunch, very nice back bend, as you can see here, and can go all the way down there. That's using multiple joints in the waist unit. Whenever you pull back, these things automatically do their little deal here, but these thrusters can all be moved out like that, and they have like a little gimmick where the thruster kind of like goes down a little bit. The arms can go all the way out. The shoulder is literally, you know, just like it's slid onto the peg. You put the arm over top of that, and there you can see more of that really nice molded detail up there on the shoulder. Also pertaining to the shoulders, much like the new Gundam as well, it also has the ability to swing outwards like that. It's on 2 different hinges, and I guess the whole situation around this is it gives you the ability to give you that really nice like frontward in front of the chest movement there. So it's got a really nice range of motion. Swivel here below the shoulder. You have a double jointed elbow, but with this really big like bulbous forearm here. Of course it doesn't go all the way, but you can also, of course, remove this, and you have the port for the wire. Goes also in this side, and this piece is a piece all of its own with the little thrusters on the back. And as we move down to the what we consider waist leg area, we have these little panels here, and how these work is they peg in via a port and peg system here, and you can then swing them out on these little armatures that they're on, and they have a full range of motion as they are on a ball joint, and you can do basically whatever you want with those to incorporate, you know, the movement of these big old thrusters here. The side panels, they don't move a whole lot, they move a little bit. Quick correction to myself, whenever I was stating the side skirts, I said that they don't move too much. They actually don't if you have them in this orientation, but they are actually on a like a double hinge here. There's a little armature that holds onto that, and if you actually slide that up, now you get really good range of motion in that. And then the back ones do the same thing with that whole peg system there. That's on a ball joint and an armature as well, so you can get really dramatic big movements out of that. And then of course this back one just flaps up and down. And of course this is all for a reason, and that reason is these big thrusters at the bottom of the kit. Looking at these thrusters, this back one swivels front and back, as these other ones actually swivel front and back and can rotate. So you can get some really cool splayed out thruster look there, which looks really, really cool. And of course, these big thrusters in the front can move out, can swivel around. It's basically a hip joint inside there, and these are basically his feet. So they can, you know, move all around, do whatever you need them to do. And of course, that really fine detail. There's actually a lot of pieces that make up these thrusters, even these thrusters, and the color separation, as you can see, is intense. What I'm going to do now is get the rest of this guy put together, get his armor all on, and then we will move on to reviewing that. And we are back with him all armored up, as you can see here, and also as you can see, he is standing rather well by himself, and the reason being is he has 3 accessories here, and they are basically extensions to these little feet. So basically they just tab in. When you're not using it, you would actually take this piece off and just put that in place. And so basically they're like little feet, landing gears as you would say, I guess, and it keeps him planted on the ground. That way you can display him without an action base and still have him standing up. So that's pretty neat. As far as articulation goes, all of the panels here do exactly like I was saying before. They all move out and everything like that. And as far as the articulation on these little thrusters, as I was saying before, if you do that, they extend. Same thing with the other way. As you can see, they fold out and everything like that. Now you do have to fold them back in by yourself. They don't do that automatically. So one other point of articulation is whenever you bend the arm, this little sliding gimmick happens here. Other than that, everything else is pretty well the same. You do have two different cockpits you can open up, and to show this one off, we'll take the head off. Of course, the head has the little thrusters in the bottom. They can actually swivel side to side, and the eye still does all the same good stuff, but you have a hatch in the back of the head because, of course, this is where the pilot is. And there's one in the chest. This one is a little bit of a, after painting it, probably will never open again because you have to be a little forceful with it, and it does open. And as you can see in there, there's like little piston details inside there, which is pretty cool. But that one is pretty tight, so I don't see myself doing that after it's painted. But taking a look at the detail here, as you can see, different shaded colors of panels, as the real grades usually do. Lots of detail. I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot to do as far as the waist down for extra details. I mean, of course, you can add extra details if you want, but really, it's pretty detailed up as is. Of course, the thrusters are all the same as they were before. You have the black sections here for the waist. Of course, the multicolored, I guess you would say bluish purple for the chest and arms and all that good stuff. So, I mean, all in all, it comes together well. You even have two different shades for the yellow. You have like an orange and then like a pale yellow for that. The hands, of course, get fleshed out with more armor around the base of the hand. Now, as far as how to get this guy on an action base, it does come with this little nifty action base adapter. It's a very unique action base adapter just for this kit, and this slides right over this little area right here. And when you get it on there, it does hold on very securely, and you would just plug the action base adapter up into this hole, and there you go. Now, there is a second port so that you can pull off of that really cool all thrusters showing pose and everything like that. And what you would do here is come in here and lift this little panel here out, and there is your second action base adapter. And as far as action bases go, as you can see, you get three. The middle one here is your standard action base with the ratcheting joints and everything to just hold up your kit. But these two here are actually special just for this kit, and what these are intended for are for the hands, or the forearms, as you may. And what these do is I actually slide open, and you can see you have 4 different ports that you can use. And basically, you just plug it straight up into there, and there you go. It supports the arms for those really cool flying deals. So that's going to do it for this review of the Real Grade Zeong. Final thoughts on the kit. It's an amazing kit. It's not too large. It's not really small either. So for all of you that are scared of like the size of real grades, this thing is actually a pretty sizable kit. It's full of articulation, full of detail, and like I said, even if you're not a huge fan of the Zeong itself, it's still a very fun build, and after I got done building it, it made me have a greater appreciation for this mobile suit. So I'm going to put a link in the description below to USAGundam store where you can get one for yourself. I do have some really cool plans in the future for this kit, so, watch out for that. And as always, a like and subscribe would be appreciated if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.